Rip City, what's good? It's your boy P Money. What a great way for the Blazers to start off their season. Pulling away late and a great back and forth fourth quarter that sees the Blazers win 115-108 in the Kings' home. Due to some great defensive possessions down the stretch. Some great offensive possessions from both Jeremy Grant and Josh Hart that see them both get back-to-back three-point plays. Dame hitting some clutch free throws down the stretch. Justice Winslow finishing out the game, playing against Sabonis with about 1:38 left. Sabonis is deep into the paint and he's trying to make something happen, but Justice Winslow holds his ground and ends up getting Sabonis to take an extra step for a turnover on a beautiful possession. And I felt Justice Winslow was huge down the stretch as well. He was gobbling up rebounds, getting a lot of putbacks, and he ended up finishing with 11 points. And without his contributions, the Blazers would not have won this game. I want to say he had like 4 offensive rebounds on his own. Something like that, you know? So, general salute to Justice Winslow because he was huge. Jeremy Grant was huge. Josh Hart was huge. I felt Sharpe had a very impressive rookie debut as well. And it was just beautiful basketball, man. But in the first quarter, I was very impressed with the Blazers defense. Now, in the first few possessions, the Kings were able to get 11 points. But once the Blazers settled in, they ended up causing 4 steals, getting out in transition, and that led to 8 points off turnovers for them. Another thing that I liked on the offensive side of the ball for the Blazers was they weren't settling for threes in that first quarter. They only ended up taking 5 and making 3 of them. What they were doing was they were aggressively attacking the basket. And it was working very well to their advantage in that first quarter because they were able to get to the line 14 times. And I believe they converted 10 of those. So that really helped them. They also ended up going on a 9-0 run at one point in the quarter, and they ended up leading 32-23. The Kings started off well, as I said, going up 11-4 and getting 2 threes from De'Aaron Fox. But they just really couldn't get their offense going at the time, as Fox had 10 points, but he also contributed 3 turnovers. So he was kind of negated in that first quarter. In the first quarter for the Blazers, Grant finished with 9 points. Nurk and Dame each had 6 points. So there was a lot of balanced offense from the Blazers. And I felt like that was the case throughout this entire game. In the second quarter, the Blazers defense was kind of sloppy, especially on the 3-point line. They allowed 7 3-pointers in the quarter. And that actually allowed the Kings to take a 4-point lead heading into the half. The Blazers on the offensive end were pretty sloppy with the ball as well, turning the ball over 5 times. And that really helped the Kings find a very good rhythm on the offensive end. The Blazers also didn't help themselves by only shooting 39% from the field. And a lot of the looks that they were having some great looks, but they just were not falling at the time. So that also helped contribute to the Kings taking that 4-point lead. Now, Dame led all scorers for the Blazers with 11 points. Simons went for 10. Grant and Sharpe each had 9 apiece. And I felt Sharpe in that second quarter really kind of helped stabilize the Blazers offense. With those 2 threes that he hit, I think they were big time because the Blazers as a team only ended up scoring 19 points in that second quarter. And that's because the Kings defense was kind of ratcheted up a little bit. It was a pretty physical game throughout, but I felt in the second quarter that physicality kind of got to the Blazers a little bit. Fox in that second quarter also hit 2 more threes, and he had 18 points going into half. Kevin Huerter and Terrence Davis, they both ended up with 10 points apiece, and Davis's contributions actually helped the Kings bench outpace the Blazers bench 15-9. And as I said, the Kings led 55-51. In the third quarter, the Blazers used an 18-7 run towards the end of the quarter to tie the game up at 84 apiece. And that was due to both Josh Hart and Jeremy Grant. I felt that those two kind of just took over, really, the offense, and just made everything start clicking. You know, they just kind of took over and getting the offense where it needed to be at. Grant ended up finishing with 18 points at the time, and Josh Hart with 16 points at the time. So they were definitely the engines for the offense in that third quarter. Also, I felt offensive rebounding really helped the Blazers gain the extra possessions that they needed to get back into this game. Because at the time, the Kings really started off strong in that third quarter, building up as many as a 10-point lead, but they really struggled down the stretch of the game, or in the third quarter. And Fox ended up having 27 points, but he didn't really get much offense from his teammates at that time. But in the fourth quarter, it was more of a back and forth, I felt, until the stretch run happened, you know? And so that was due to some great defensive possessions. The small ball lineup of Dame, Ant, Hart, Grant, and Winslow finished out the game. I want to say they finished out the last about 7 minutes of the game. I want to say it was about maybe 6.5 minutes, something like that. It was quite a bit of time of the game that was a finishing group, and it worked out, you know. It was beautiful basketball, I felt, and it was a great way to build the confidence of the young guys like a Shaedon Sharpe, like a Nas, who played 10 minutes tonight. He didn't score or anything, but he just looked more relaxed out there. He didn't look like he was trying to rush nothing, you know? So he's going to get back towards himself, and that's going to be another huge dynamic piece to the team, you know? The Blazers will be getting Gary Payton II back pretty soon, and that's another dynamic to the puzzle. So I really like where the Blazers are right now. Now, of course, the Blazers had mistakes and all of that. That's gonna happen during games, but I just like how they started the game and how they finished the game. That was really what I like to see, and I felt like they won the first, third, and fourth quarters. You know, only the second quarter is where they kind of slipped up at. But I don't really have too much else on this one. This is your boy P Money. Tell me what you guys think, and I'm off this.